Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is March 6th, 2026, and you are listening to episode 226 of Midnight Film Society. Your host, Damian Sherman. Joining me today, as always, is
Derick McDuff.
On today's show, the One Movie a Day Challenge continues into March, but this time includes actual new releases. We've got reviews of The Testament of Ann Lee, Send Help, Nirvana the Band, The Show, The Movie, and Have Fun, Good Luck, Don't Die. In addition, as this will be the last show before the 2026 Oscars, Derick and I will go over who should win and who will win at Hollywood's biggest night. But before that, we'll go over some movie and TV news, discuss more about what we've been watching, and finish up with our Letterboxd assignments. Write to the show, midnightfilmsociety@gmail.com, Midnight Film Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. Subscribe on Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcasts, and Spotify. Rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, a family member, or stranger. What's up, dude? How we doing?
We are doing well. Excited to be talking about some Oscar stuff. Is just around the corner.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of snuck up on me. I was like, oh, it's March. March is far away. And then March happened, and I'm like, oh, wow, it's actually 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, no, it's, I was like, oh, yeah, it's just in like a few days, because I was all in on the Olympics, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, now Oscar time.
Yeah, they definitely need to be sooner. I feel like we've been talking about this shit for 6 months. We've been talking about, One Battle After Another came out in September. So we've been talking about that for a long time. So yeah, I think pushing it back at least a month would probably do wonders for our sanity, right?
Yeah, we don't need this much of a run up. It's kind of getting ridiculous at this point. It's like we're still talking about 2025 movies and we're already, a fourth of the way into 2026.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the presidential campaign thing where they basically start campaigning for their next administration or whatever, like a few months after they get into office.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's talk a little bit of, mixing the politics and the entertainment. Netflix backed out of the Warner Brothers deal. There was a back and forth. There was a competition a little bit back and forth to see who would buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Turned out to be the Ellison-owned Paramount. So we're getting Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery, and everything included in that. Derick, your thoughts and feelings, which I assume are going to be mostly positive, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I love it when people who are cozying up to fascists get to run all of the media, because obviously the Ellisons, who had already bought Paramount, are now buying Warner Brothers, so they're going to be owning two of the big three studios. Obviously, it looked like for a while this was going to be Netflix was going to be able to acquire Warner Brothers, which presented its own issues, but I think would have been the much better choice. And then all of a sudden, Paramount comes out with a better deal, and then the Netflix has a week to beat it, and Netflix has a meeting with some Trump officials and says, actually, we're not going to try and beat this. So maybe something happened where they we're going to make sure that Paramount gets this no matter what you do. Or maybe Netflix like they said, it wasn't worth the cost. They wanted to get this for the right price, not get into even more of a bidding war. But either way, we're kind of fucked on this one. And a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and there's going to be less creative freedom, and there's going to be more shit like Mercy coming out.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask you a question that just popped in my head just now about, Netflix backing out. Do you think Netflix backing out has anything to do? And I know this is like a long shot to be like, is maybe Netflix, the heads there, maybe they are slightly better people than we give them credit for, of like, I actually don't want to work with Nazis. We don't want to. If we have to merge, if the thing that lets us merge is me sucking Trump's dick, maybe I won't do that. Yeah,
it seems like of the, corporate, like overlords, they're the ones that are definitely, they're not like the Ellisons who are willing to, kowtow to everything Trump demands. So, good on them, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I'm just looking through, the biggest movie studios now, if you're counting, Paramount and Warner Brothers merging. What's left is Disney Corporation, which is owning many other corporations within them, right? Marvel and many others. Universal, is Universal basically the only independent, like, not independent, but, independent in the sense that they aren't a Russian nesting doll of other corporations. Is Universal kind of the one big player left amongst the other big ones?
I mean, they haven't bought another. What's not one of the major studios that hasn't bought another major studio? I guess if that's the
Yeah.
question.
That is the question, yeah.
Yeah.
Sony Pictures, I guess, they have Columbia under their banner. Yeah, that's about it. That's not great. It's really
It
really
well,
sucks,
Disney bought Fox, and then of course, now Paramount buying Warner Brothers. So yeah, not ideal.
No, it's really not. So we'll see what happens. It's going to take a year at least, even in this political and corporate environment. That's still those things. It's massive gears that need to churn. Those things still need to happen. They were talking on the Big Pick about the midterms coming up this year. I think if you have some optimism, like I'm forcing myself to be optimistic, right, these days, to be like, yeah, the midterms will happen. There's probably, if there's a change of Congress in there, then they will put up some sort of fight. But we're still looking at least a year, 18 months for that stuff to go through. And they were saying on the Big Pick, yeah, we still got, a year and a half until the Beatles movie, the Beatles 4 pick, the Sam Mendes 4 Beatles movies is still in production. Yeah. So that's still around the corner.
Oh yeah, looking forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, nothing good really there to say. I was saying, waffling over putting this in there just because there's really not much other to say other than it's bad and it's a shitty thing and fuck, we live in hell, like Amanda Dobbin said. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it needed to be commented on, I think, for sure. It needed to be discussed, brought up.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so with that, let's get to the who will win. One of our favorite things to do on the show. We love to do the most anticipated. Is always a fun episode. I think this is also a fun episode to do our Oscar picks, Oscar predictions. Bow, 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 bow. We will be picking the correct winners this year. As we do every year. So yeah, do you want to start with the best best picture predictions and go down the list from there?
Oh, we gotta work our way up. You don't start with the biggest thing and then go down to the things that people don't care about. No, what do you?
Got to draw them in.
You got exactly. You got to make exactly. You got to. Exactly. You got to make the people enticed. You start with something interesting. This is the way you start with something big. This is what the Oscars themselves always do. They always start with screenplay or something. Big flash up the top. But then you save the biggest one for last.
Screenplay, is it screenplay or is it, I always feel like they do best supporting actress first for some reason.
It might be it's actor or screenplay. One of the big ones they do up at the top though, I think.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with best cinematography. I texted you about this and said, what do we want to do for below the line stuff? So I just started with best cinematography. How about we start there?
Sure. I love how you just completely disregarded what I said, and you're like, yeah, cinematography. I'm like, all right, let's go.
What did you say?
I don't know if there's anything. You start with the big thing, and you and then you go, but then you work your way up to the biggest thing. But let's go with cinematography.
Okay, cinematography. What am I trying to say? Jesus, my brain is not working today at all. The nominees are, there we go. Forgot the word nominees. Nominees are Frankenstein, Dan Lauston, Marty Supreme, Darius Kanji, fantastic, iconic cinematographer. One Battle After Another, Michael Bauman. Sinners, Autumn Durald Arcapa. And Train Dreams, Alfonso Veloso. I'm going to say my pick is, here's what I'll say. What I want to win is Train Dreams, Alfonso Veloso. Beautiful, scenic cinematography. Obviously borrowing a lot from brain not working today. Jesus. The cinematographer we talked about many times looks like Train Dreams, looks like the...
Evo? I don't know. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the classic guy did Tree of Life. He did Thin Red Line.
Yeah, I mean, he's a director. He's not a cinematographer.
Yeah, no, I know, but his movies look like Train Dreams. Like they clearly took a lot of inspiration from the way his movies look. Terrence Malick, Jesus Christ. Terrence Malick. The movie Train Dreams looks a lot like Terrence Malick films, like A Hidden Life and all that stuff. So I'm going to go say I want Train Dreams to win. I think One Battle will get it just because it's a juggernaut and a lot of momentum behind it. Derick, what do you think will win? What do you want to win? What do you think will win?
I think I agree with you. One Battle is going to win. I think Michael Bauman, and I think it also should. I think that movie has incredible cinematography, and we've waxed poetic many times about that great last sequence with the rolling hills and everything, and how precise they were. And they're like, oh, we got to loosen it up a little bit. It looks too perfect. So I think that's just an incredibly shot movie. So that one should and will win.
Yes. Okay.
And I think this portends where I think a lot of my predictions are going to go. I think One Battle might have a very good night, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Very good night. Yes. All right. Let's next up. Let's do best score. Let's see. Best score. Nominees are Begonia, Jerskin, sorry, I was going to say Jerkskin, Jerskin Fendrix, Frankenstein, Alexander Desplat, Hamnet, Max Richter, One Battle After Another, Johnny Greenwood, and Sinners, Ludwig Göransson. This is a fucking tight race, man. Yeah. I think I want to win is probably Göransson. I just think it's a massively disparate and variety filled, and just an amazing score he put together with so many different types of music, blues and hip hop and all kinds of stuff he threw in there. So I'm going to say should and will Ludwig Göransson. What do you think, Derick?
I think I think Johnny Greenwood here. I'm going to go with One Battle After Another again. In this category, I think it's going to have a very strong showing. I think people like that score. It's very tense. But I think should, instead of any of the nominees, I'm going with a movie that I dislike, this movie itself, but I quite like the music, and that is Tron Ares from Nine Inch Nails, a.k.a. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. And I think maybe if they had actually been Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they might have got the nomination. But going by Nine Inch Nails, they did not. But I think it was the best score of the year. I've been listening to it the most frequently for sure. Tron always has a good soundtrack, and this is no exception.
Yeah, very good. I texted you again about, I think a lot of shows will, I know Blank Check does this a lot, where they'll be like, yeah, here's what I want to win. Fuck the nominees. Here's my favorite thing of the year. Here's my favorite score of the year. Doesn't have to be anything that's even close to being nominated, but yes, very good pick there. Let's go to best animated feature. I think I mentioned it when we talked about the nominations when they came out. I was like, it's K-pop Demon Hunters and 4 others, but I'll just read them off. Arco, which I still have not seen. Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, which I have yet to see, but very much want to. And Zootopia 2. I think K-pop Demon Hunters should and will win. What do you think?
I think that Zootopia 2 might have a shot here. People love Zootopia. So I think that could very much win, but I still will pick should and will win as K-pop Demon Hunter. Is one of my favorite movies of the year. Is my top number 6, I think, pick of 2025. So yeah, I love that movie.
Amazing. Good, very good stuff. Let me ask you, because I have writing adapted next up. Do you have a pick for Best International? Because I know I'm reading off the Wikipedia, and Best International is sitting right there next to it. So do you want to do a quick prediction about Best International?
Yeah, let's do it. You read off the entries, because I don't know them off the top of my head, because we didn't say we were going to do this one. So
we didn't. Yeah, I know
there's 2 in here that are nominated for Best Picture, so it makes it a little bit more tricky than it would have been. But go ahead and read them off.
We have It Was Just an Accident, Jafar Panahi, The Secret Agent, Kleber Mendoza Filho, Sentimental Value, Joachim Trier, Surat, Alexander Laxi, and The Voice of Hind Rajab, Kauthar Ben Hania. I will say this is a very tough category. I've seen 3 of these, and I will go with should win is Secret Agent, will win is Sentimental Value. What do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna say, will win is Secret Agent, and should win is Sentimental Value. I'm gonna flip it. Okay,
very good. Yeah. They're all really good picks. I really want to see Surat. I heard it's very good, as well as The Voice of Hind Rajab. Yep. Let's go.
And it could be that neither of them could win. Surat could steal it from them. Even though it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, you never know.
Yeah, Neon has been putting a lot of force behind that one, and I believe also Secret Agent, I think they also put out, and It Was Just an Accident. So yeah, they've been doing a lot of press for all of those. All right, let's move on to Best Writing Adapted Screenplay. Nominees are Begonia, Jing Jun Huan, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro, Hamnet, Chloe Zhao, and Meg O'Farrell. One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson, Train Dreams, Clint Bentley, and Greg Quaidar. So I have Will and Should is One Battle After Another. I haven't read Vineland, but I've heard it's, a just sort of meandering, sort of like very much not cohesive, sort of straight ahead story. I think he did a lot of work there to make a very meandering book into one of the best, most compelling screenplays I've seen in a very long time. And also, shout out to Benicio del Toro. I think we talked about this when we talked about the movie, that he put a lot of work into his own character, but in his character's sort of world, and the entire like Underground Railroad aspect of that movie was spearheaded by him. So I think credit needs to go to him as well for talking about the story and how those crafted. So yeah,
not the adapted screenplay then. So that's something that it was not in the screenplay. What you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, but I think the finished product, I think, has a lot to do with what he contributed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So yeah, One Battle Should and Will. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you here on both counts. Adapted should and will win is PTA for One Battle After Another. Really, really incredible screenplay. Very propulsive. It's a 3-hour long movie that you never feel its length. It works like a Swiss watch. I love this. Like you said, it's adapted from something barely. It's sort of like takes inspiration almost from Vineland, but it is its own thing. I think this one is a perfect pick for adapted screenplay, and it would and should win.
Yeah. Let's go to Best Writing Original Screenplay. Nominees are Blue Moon by Robert Kaplow, It Was Just an Accident, Jafar Panahi, with collaboration with Nadir Saivar, Shadmir Reston, and Mehdi Madhaman. Marty Supreme, Ronald Bronstein, and Josh Shafty. Sentimental Value, Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier. And Sinners, Ryan Coogler. I have as my pick Will and Should, Robert Kaplow for Blue Moon. I know this is probably controversial based on all the other picks there, but I fell in love with that script and Ethan Hawke's performance of it. I just think it's a really difficult thing to make a compelling movie based on one guy doing so much of the heavy lifting there. Difficult to make a movie compelling that looks like a play. I think he did an amazing job there. So I will say Will and Should is Blue Moon.
Okay, I will go a different way with for original screenplay. I think that the Oscars are going to see they recognize the original success of Sinners and will award that. I think also the Academy, for whatever reason, they have a tendency to give black directors who also write their screenplays the screenwriting category and not the best director category. And I see, especially with PTA this year, that will be the case. But I also think that is it should win best original, for the same, reasons that I talked about why PTA should win best adapted. I think that the screenplay here for Sinners is just it's great screenplay. These are my number 1 and 2 movies of the year. For people who might remember that episode, are One Battle and Sinners, and I think that they're also the 2 best screenplays and the best in those respective categories.
Yeah, I think you make a really good argument there. It's going to be a lot of these categories. Now that we're actually going through them, it's a very tight race for a lot of them, not just the acting category, which are very strong as well.
Yeah. It's gonna be close. It could be like One Battle could take everything, or it could be just like, who knows? At the end of the night, it might not even win Best Picture.
Yes, yeah. We have really no idea. It's a really, really great year. Movies. Best Actress in a Supporting Role.
So are we skipping over all the small ones you said we were going to talk about? Are we going to double back to those or no?
Let me see if I have them even written down.
I knew you didn't, Damian. I knew that you'd tell me, let's talk about all these things, and then it goes out of your head.
Let's see. It did. So which one do you want to go back, double back before we go to the big
gotta
ones?
go. Let's double back a little bit because there's a bunch we skipped over that we said we were going to talk about. Let's see.
Okay.
How about best song, Damian? Do you have anything in your notes for best song?
Well, I mean, I would just say it's, again, the Golden K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't even...
Well, you got to list the nominees, Damian. You have the nominees in front of you.
But it's going to win. It's going to win. Okay.
Yes.
Nominees are for Best Song, Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless. Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. I Lie to You from Sinners. Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verde. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about this movie. Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Golden by K-pop Demon Hunters. Music and lyrics by Ajay, Mark Sollenbeck, 24, Ito, and Teddy Park. So it's Golden. Golden, baby. Up and go the Golden.
Oh, wow.
Gonna be Golden.
Wow, we're taking you to karaoke soon. Let's go.
We're doing it.
You know, it's difficult because I don't know. I don't know if this is as much of a lock as you think because there's the Diane Warren thing where it's like she's been nominated every year for the past 15 years or whatever. And now there's a biopic about her. Once again, she's getting nominated for that. Is this the year they're like, well, she made a movie about herself. We've nominated her for 15 years. This is the year we give it to her. And also, I think that song from Sinners, you know, I think that has a pretty big cultural reach, but I still am picking Will and Should Win Golden. I love that song. I listen to it on the repeat. So I think it's definitely the front runner for sure.
Absolutely. Let's go to Best Casting. Nominees are Hamnet, Nina Gold, Marty Supreme, Jennifer Venditti, One Battle After Another, Cassandra Kulukundus, Secret Agent, Gabriela Dominguez, and Sinners, Frances Maisler. So let's talk about this because I'm not fully clear. Is it just like the casting of so it's casting and so it's the stars, the supporting cast, it's everything, right? All the people involved from the lead to every supporting person. Is that what that is?
Yeah, so it's the process of choosing the cast. So it's not like how well did the cast do. It's like how well did we cast this movie?
Gotcha. So with that in mind, I'm probably going to go to Marty Supreme just because there's a few first-time actors in there. I think they nailed it. So if we're talking about how well, the casting agent did their job, I would definitely say it's Marty Supreme. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough one because this is a category that we have never had before. So we really don't know. All the nominees are Best Picture nominees as well. So I don't know what that tells us. But I think, just based on how well I think that this movie is going to do overall, I think One Battle After Another is going to be my will win pick. My should win pick is another one that it was not nominated, and that was Black Bag, because the cast of that movie is so perfectly picked. Like, it's just like we need a sexy spy thriller. We got Cate Blanchett, we've got Michael Fassbender. Who do we surround them with? You've got old man James Bond in there, as the kind of like old man, like secret agent. You've got Tom Burke doing his thing. Like, it's an incredible cast, and I think that that one should have. It is the best casting of the year.
Gotcha. Yeah, really good casting overall. Let's go to. Did we say Best Sound? Is that what I mentioned?
No, it's not, but we can do it.
Okay. Best Sound. So the nominees are F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surat. I've heard Surat has amazing sound. I think just if people don't know, it's about a father looking for his lost son in basically a Burning Man type situation, but it's in Morocco instead of southwestern United States. So just based on the ones I've seen all the others except for Surat. Just in the theater, going back to the theater experience of One Battle After Another, it was an amazing sound system, not just the VistaVision visuals, amazing sound system there. Really, all the obviously the last chase had amazing sound, but also all the way through it with all the gunshots and just everything all together. So yeah, I probably, I watched F1 recently, and it's a fine movie with, the sound is obviously incredibly important with a racing movie like that, but I'm probably going to say One Battle will and should. Yeah. What do you say?
Okay. I'm going to say, and this is one that I didn't prepare for because Damian didn't tell me we were going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say will. I'm going to say F1. There's a lot of sound happening, a lot of motors rolling. The Transformers movies, I think, always did really well in this category and should win. Why not? Because it sounds good. A movie, I don't love it, but it sounds good.
It did sound pretty good, yeah. Let's see. So we did cinematography, right?
Yeah.
What else did we? Oh, visual effects. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. This is one we actually said we were going to talk about.
I specifically remember in 2019, so the 2020 Oscars of Endgame. Because I don't know. At that point, I was like, "What? Best graphics? Oh, it's got the most amazing CGI. That's got to win." And I think 1917 ended up taking it. And the reasoning was you know what burning buildings look like. You kind of have an idea of what war settings look like. Even if you've never been in a war, you have an idea of what a demolished building looks like, of what all that stuff kind of looks like. So I think that was the reasoning there. So taking that into account. So the nominees are for Best Visual Effects: Avatar: Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World: Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Now, I should also say I watched the Corridor Crew do their annual Oscars predictions, and they were talking about The Lost Bus. I hadn't seen any of this. I didn't really know anything about it, but they were saying how they went into it also not knowing much about it, and it's about the 2018 California fires. Let me see which one specifically. 2018 Camp Fire. So yeah, in Paradise, California. So they were watching and they're like, okay, where's the effects? Where's all the computer stuff? And it was everything. It was all the smoke. It was ash. It was ember, any little fiber embers anywhere. It was all effects, and they couldn't really tell at first. So I'm not saying that's going to take it. I'm just mentioning it because it's one of those things where visual effects can be so subtle you don't even notice them. I think that's a really good way of talking about good ones. I would probably say Avatar just because it's the most known one, and I think even though the Academy has been expanded by a lot over the past few years, I think there's still a lot of old fucks in there who are just impressed by shiny things. So I'm probably going to say will win Avatar, should win Lost Bus.
Okay, I'm going to say will win Sinners because I think that the Academy does want to go with, something, more subtle, more interesting. It's got vampires, but it's also got, the fires, like you talked about. So I think that one is, going to do well. I think the Academy's going to want to reward Sinners in at least a couple categories. What I think should win, Jurassic World Rebirth. That's not an incredible movie, but it looks really good, and that scene where they're floating down the river getting chased by a T-Rex is really cool. So dinosaurs.
All right. And one last below the line nominations we have is Best Film Editing. Nominees are F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. Now, this is always one that I'm always confused about, where I'm just like, what's good editing? Or what does it look like? What is bad editing? What is good editing? Here, One Battle, I think I was just watching a video essay on it about the car chasing at the end of how it goes, it's cutting back and forth between her. And I think that scene and how it's cut, when I first watched the movie, I was also like, put on my heels of just like, wait, what happened? Where was she? How did he get, how did he crash? So I think that does a really good job there of showing what good editing is. Marty Supreme is just a kinetic, super fast paced thing. I think the editing does a very good job of supporting that. Sentimental Value, I'm not that's one I'm like, okay, why is that there? Sinners was edited incredible, especially the dance scene with the sort of through time sweeping thing there. I'm gonna probably say One Battle just because of what I mentioned. So yeah, what do you think, Derick?
Yeah, this is such a tough category because it's like, well, the editing is the best when you don't really notice it, So this is like a weird category that I feel like a lot of times goes to most editing rather than the best editing. With that in mind, I think F1 it was probably going to win. But should win, I think Sinners. I think Sinners has some really cool, clever stuff being done. I think of that scene, that long shot where it's just panning around and you're seeing all the different music from the past and the future and everything like that. So that is my pick for editing. But this is a weird category, so who knows?
Yeah. All right, so let's loop back to Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Nominees are Ellie Fanning, Sentimental Value.
Elle Fanning, you always do that. You ever do that?
Did
every
I say Ellie?
Time. You did.
Because it's got an extra E. Get that extra E out of there. Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value. Inga Ipsider Lillis, Sentimental Value. Amy Madigan, Weapons. Wumi Masakatu, Sinners, and Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. So, let me see my notes here. Oh, yeah. So, let's see. So, Amy Madigan won for Critics' Choice. Tiana Taylor won for Golden Globes. Wumi Masakatu won for BAFTAs. So, just again, speaking to how strong a year and how varied this award season has been, it could go to any of them. So, I'm just going to say who I want to win, who I think should win, is Amy Madigan for Weapons. It was an incredible performance, just one of the most amazing chameleon-like performances I've seen in a very long time. So I would love to see her get it. She should win. I think it'll go to Wumi Masakatu for Sinners. I think that was just an incredible performance. And again, the movie itself, talking about casting, I think they got the perfectly right casting there with her in there as well in that role. So I think it will go to her. I think Amy Madigan should get it for Weapons. What do you think, Derick?
Yeah, I mean, Amy Madigan would be really cool if she got it. I think it's going to be Tiana Taylor as Perfidia Beverly Hills for One Battle. I think that that's going to continue. That train is going to continue with the Academy of One Battle winning in a lot of categories. Should win. Once again, a non-nominee. I think Kirsten Dunst for Roofman as Lee Wavescott.
Nice.
I said when I reviewed that episode, I thought that was an Oscar-worthy performance, and I will continue to champion that train. I think she is absolutely phenomenal in that movie, a very underrated movie and a very undersung role, and she's just so good in it.
Nice. I want to say one of them, at least one of them, was their pick on the Blank Check Oscar predictions show there.
Nice,
so
nice. Yeah,
you're in good category there. All right, moving on to Best Actor in a Supporting Role, we have Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another as Sensei, Sergio St. Carlos, I didn't even know that was his name, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein as The Creature, Delroy Lindo, Sinners as Delta Slim, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another as Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value as Gustav Borg. All right, and again with this one, Critics' Choice went to Jacob Elordi, BAFTAs went to Sean Penn, Golden Globes went to Stellan Skarsgård. I think who will win is Stellan, not for any particular reason. I just think he's, I know you hate the argument. I know a lot of people don't like the argument of like he's been around for so long and he's been giving good performances so that he deserves it. But I just think he also gave a really amazing performance in there. I think Sean Penn probably will also. It's again, all of these are very, very tight races. So I think Sean Penn probably might pull out ahead at the end, but I really would like to see and probably think Stellan will take it. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Sean Penn. This is a category that does feel wide open, so I would not be surprised really if anybody got it. Who I'd be pulling for is probably Delroy or Benicio. I think Benicio is so freaking good in that movie, and Delroy Lindo is great and has always done great work. And if you want to say somebody who's been around for a long time, and we should give it to somebody, then I would say Delroy Lindo in that case.
Yeah.
But who should win, above any of those people, I think from a movie that I did not care for except for one part of it, and that one part that I liked about it was Denzel Washington as Marcinius in Gladiator 2. He's doing so much in that movie. That movie that I already forgot existed, but I did not forget about that performance.
That's a deep cut.
Deep cut. And it's weird because Gladiator won Best Picture. Or did it win Best Picture? A huge Oscar movie, either way.
Yes.
And Gladiator 2. No one even remembers that it came out at this point.
Nope. Mr. Oscars. Well, no, actually, he wasn't even nominated. Paul Mescal, in Gladiator 2. It's just like, Jesus, woof. That's crazy. All right, so Best Actress in a Leading Role, Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson in Song Sung Blue, Renata Rysov in Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone in Begonia. Speaking to the award season, Jessie Buckley just recently won the Irish Film and Television Award for Best Actress. She also picked up the Critics' Choice Award and the Golden Globe. So obviously it'll go to Renata Rysov. She's, I said on this show many times, my bae, my queen, she should win leading role here. I think it's going to go to Jessie Buckley. Again, they're all very, very tight races. I think this one is tight as well. But I think it's just one of those performances that the Academy likes to award. Kind of loud, showy, but also very quiet and subdued at times. So I really think it probably will be. Buckley would love to see Renata pick it up.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that it will be Jessie Buckley. She's a great actress. This is a very, very Academy Awards-y performance for her.
Yes.
This is a movie that did not really work for me that much, at least not on the same level that it worked for you. But yeah. I think that Jessie Buckley was nevertheless very good in it. Doing what was required of her in a emotionally manipulative role ultimately, but she still made it emotionally resonant, I think. And there's a reason she's won all the precursors, will win, and I think she should win. She's my bae. Oh. So, okay. I gotta go. Even though Emma Stone is also my bae, she's already won twice, and I do think that Jessie Buckley... I also didn't see Begonia, and I saw her. So, was a very big fan, and I think that she will and should win.
All right. Moving on to actor in a leading role. Timothée Chalamet in Marty Supreme. Leo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. So my pick is, I don't even know. Timmy won Critics' Choice and Golden Globes. I could see this is the tightest race, I think. I think this is probably the tightest race because it's such a good category, amazing performances. I think it's a race between Timmy and Leo. I would like to see Timmy take it just because I think there's so much politics here on this shit. Like I was saying with this person's been around for so long, they deserve it. But I think one thing that is true is that, and you can look, this holds up if you look at the stats of who was won and when. The Academy does not like to award Best Actor to young people. I think the youngest actor to win it was like 29. Timmy is like 30 right now. So just saying it shouldn't be a consideration, but it is. So I think I would like to see Timmy take it, but I think Leo will. Yeah.
I think Timmy will take it. I think he's the young upcoming star. He's been the last couple of years in the running for this. He's clearly very much wants this. I think he's been politicking for this hard as people have been really on the trail trying to make this happen. Marty Supreme is, of all of these movies, the one that is most defined by a singular performance. So I think that's going to do him some favors. So I think he will win. Should win, I think Wagner Moura. I think he, in a movie that I thought was pretty uneven, I think he is pretty spectacular. As in not just two roles like Michael B. Jordan, but in three roles, because he's playing at least he's listed in three roles. He plays his son and he plays himself and his like alter ego sort of. So I think he's really good in this. He's really versatile at being serious at times and comedic at other times, and like kind of mysterious at others. So I think he's somebody who American audiences sort of know, and that's why he got in, because the Academy does not do great with nominating a lot of foreign actors usually, but because he's a foreign actor who's been in American movies, I think he got in, and I think he really deserves this.
All right, very cool. All right, Best Directing. Nominees are Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I think it's also a tight race. I haven't been following who's been winning what recently. I think it's a two-way match between PTA and Ryan Coogler. I think I would like to see Ryan Coogler take it. That'd be cool. I think PTA probably will take it. And that's the extent of my thoughts pretty much. There's so many things you could say about who has pushed more, who has won more, who has, PTA has been around for 30 years, been making movies for a long time. He kind of had one of those years in 2008, 2007 with There Will Be Blood going up against the buzzsaw of No Country. I think he probably would have had a Best Picture win there and a Best Director win there if that hadn't happened, if that hadn't been put up against him there. I don't know who will win, but I think it probably will be PTA. I would love to see Ryan Coogler take it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Where it's a two-way race for sure. These are
Yeah.
both incredible directing, incredible directors who both, neither of them have an award. Both of them really deserve it. I would love to see either of them get it. Obviously, this is the second time now that PTA has been in kind of a race with two Titanic movies, who are also, like I said, my favorite two movies of the year. So it's kind of a coin flip for me. So I'm saying will win one battle. I think it's going to win the night. With all the nominations, going to have the most nominations, including this one, or most wins. And I think I'm going to go with Ryan Coogler. In a close thing,
Yeah.
I'm just going to maybe because I want to spread the love a little bit, but I think that Coogler had a really really incredible performance, and making a movie that did this well is no small feat.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Best Picture nominees are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Again, probably a two-way race. I think probably coming up third is Marty Supreme or Hamnet. Yeah, again, very tight here as well with the Best Director. I'm probably going to say One Battle. I think it's just got the momentum. It's got the thing behind it. Would love to see Sinners take it. That's, yeah. Sinners is the cool movie. One Battle is like, yeah, of course it's that thing. But Sinners is, yeah, man, would love to see Ryan Coogler on stage accepting the award for Best Picture. But I really think it's probably going to be One Battle.
I think this is the One Battle a year. This is not surprising to anyone who has listened to me talk for the last 30 minutes, but I think it is going to clean up. It's going to win Best Picture, and I think it deserves it. I think this is an incredible movie. I think it is, once again, a coin flip for me. Part of the reason why I wanted to give directing for directing to Sinners is because I wanted to recognize both of them, because they're both so incredible. But if I can only pick one I'm going to pick One Battle. It was narrowly my favorite film of the year over Sinners, so it's my should win, and I think it will.
Yeah. So next time we record is on the 19th. So we'll be pretty close to when it happens. Academy Awards are on March 15th. So yeah, we'll record that week. So we'll get our pretty hot takes right there that week. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Good luck to all the nominees. Moving on. I got a crap ton of movies like I did last time. Yeah. Still doing on my one movie a day challenge. So how about I do a couple of movies and then we'll go to you? How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. Do you mind if we take a quick water break?
Yeah, for sure. And
right,
we'll be right back. And we're back. Yeah, like I said, I will be talking about these. Let me see. I don't know. I didn't write down how many I have. Like 8 or 9? A lot.
I opened the doc and I was like, Jesus Christ, all right. I haven't seen anything.
Lord.
Because I've been watching the Olympics and then I was sick, so I did not watch any movies. I watched some TV though.
Yeah. I caught up with some of the ones you saw last time, so we could chat about those for a little bit. But first up, we have The Testament of Anne Lee. This is playing near me for a little bit, but I eventually did catch up with it last week. This is directed by Mona Fastvold. I believe they have some more credits under their belt. The World to Come from 2020. But also they're the partner of, writing partner and married to the Brutalist director. I forget blanking on his name right now, but
Bradley. Is it Bradley Corbet? Is that his name?
Bradley Corbet. Yes, thank you. Yep, she's married to that guy. One of the best movies I saw this year is this. It is starring Amanda Seyfried, Lewis Pullman, Thomas McKenzie, and Christopher Abbott, one of my favorite underrated actors working today. The synopsis is: the extraordinary true legend of Anne Lee, the founder of the devotional sect known as the Shakers. So I didn't going into this, I didn't really know too much about it, even though I live 20 minutes from Shaker Village, which is where all of this stuff happens. So I was pretty familiar with the landmarks and the locations and things like that. She started this over in eastern New York, just across the border. Kind of near where I saw this. So, and this is a musical movie. This is a incredibly choreographed and There's a lot of singing in this, and it's just an incredible feat to behold on film. I'm really glad I dragged my ass out to see this in theater, because I think I would have gotten half the enjoyment out of the seeing it at home. Yeah, it's an incredible performance by Amanda Seyfried. It's an incredible story told. Let me see how long it is. Yeah, it's 137 minutes, but it's one of those movies that moved, like we said, like with One Battle. I think it's a testament to her editing and to her, screenplay, and to the pacing of the movie, that you really don't feel a movie. I actually came out of this wishing there was more to this movie, because it was really so well told and so well moved, and so the pacing was so good. Yeah, it's a really great movie that I recommend anybody check out if you were at all interested in this time period and just want to see one of the best performances this year from Amanda Seyfried and others.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I've been wanting to see this. I'm a huge Seyfried fan. I've been, talking about her since, she was the dead friend on Veronica Mars. But yeah, a huge fan of hers. Not really, because that happens before the first episode. It's backstory. Okay. But they realize that, she's basically the Laura Palmer of that show, and they realize, this actress is really good. Let's do a bunch of flashbacks featuring her. Gotcha. But yeah, so she's a huge fan of hers. So I really need to see this one.
Nice. Yeah, so I went on a 4-movie kick that day. I went over to one of my favorite art house theaters. If you ever heard me talk about the Spectrum 8 before, talking about it again. It's an amazing little theater over in Albany, New York. So yeah, the second one I saw that day was Nirvana, the band, the show. I've heard so much about this. People that have seen it have been raving about it, saying it's one of the funniest things they've seen in a very long time. And it is. It is really very, very funny. I saw this in a packed theater. You could tell who were fans of the show already, that people were laughing hysterically at things I didn't really get. Apparently this was not a web series. I think it might have been a web series, but it came very quickly to, it was a web series that came to Comedy Central, I think, for a little bit in 2017, 2018. So yeah, this stars Matt Johnson, directed by Matt Johnson and Jamie Carroll. Is essentially about two guys that are just trying to get a show at the Rivoli, which is a place in Toronto. They're trying to get a show there with their band, Nirvana the band, spelled Nirvanna, to not get sued apparently. But yeah, it is hilarious. It is very meta commentary. It is just one of those movies. I think if anybody's heard anybody talk about this, what they've probably heard is, I don't know how they did this. I don't know how they filmed this. I don't know how they got the permits. I don't know how they got the clearance for a lot of the songs, and a lot of the ideas in this are very much based on Back to the Future. But they even mentioned that. So yeah, it is a wild ride, dude. It is 100 minutes. It goes super quick. And again, wanted to see more of this. I probably will be seeking out the show at a certain point, but because these guys are fucking hilarious. Yeah, great movie. Matt Johnson was in Blackberry, one of your favorite movies from a few years ago. So yeah, if you like that, if you liked him in that, if you like his style of comedy, I cannot recommend this movie enough.
I've been meaning to see it. Like I said, I've just been homesick for the past week or so, so I haven't been able to get it. There's only like one showing a day at any theaters near me. But yeah, especially because of Blackberry, because of Matt Johnson, this has been on my to watch list very high.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Let's go to you. You checked out the Winter Olympics. I think we talked about this a little bit last time. Have they wrapped up? Oh, actually, I know they wrapped up, and I know a little bit about this because they were talking about it on the Fighting the War Room podcast. So, big thing was the hockey game. Was there anything other than the big hockey game that you want to chat about?
I mean, there was a lot of really cool stuff that happened. The U.S. did very well this Olympics. Obviously Norway always does insanely well at the Winter Olympics, especially that one guy, Clavo. He won like 6. He's like basically the Michael Phelps of skiing, and he just won like 6 golds. But the U.S. still took home the most medals we've ever taken home in the Winter Olympics. We took home the most golds we've ever taken home with 12 all gold medals, including with Alyssa Liu just killing it on the short program. She won 2 golds with the team program, and then the women's short program. Just absolutely incredible performance by her. People are loving her. She's just very charismatic and great, and has this incredible story where she quit skating a few years ago and then now won the gold medal and is just a dominant skater and incredible. And then, of course, I love hockey, so it was great to see the U.S. go 2 for 2. The women won, which was great. We came back and beat Canada in overtime, and then the men who were big underdogs to Canada, we were up against Canada. They tied it up, but we beat them in overtime thanks to an incredible performance by the goalie. That was quickly sullied by fucking Kash Patel for some reason going into the men's locker room, which was a major bummer.
Yeah.
Took the like I went from being euphoric and like this is the first time I've ever seen the men's team win a gold in the Olympics to that sucks, but still very proud of all of the U.S. Olympians, and it was just a great Olympics, and I loved seeing it, and I'm very excited for in 2 years when the Summer Olympics come here.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard so much talk of that. There's multiple podcasts, obviously, in Southern California, Los Angeles. Podcasts are abound. One specifically talk about the traffic in LA is historic, iconic, all of that, and they were like, how the fuck? How the fuck is that even going to happen?
I'm hoping that because of the Olympics, they actually improve the infrastructure and provide a lot more public transportation, because that happens with a lot of times. They will improve public transportation for the Olympics, and then you'll just have better public transportation going forward. So maybe that can even help with that problem.
That'd be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right, so that's one thing you've been watching. Let's go back to me. So I checked out a movie you saw last time, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Like I said, this is Gore Verbinski, starring Sam Rockwell, Haley Richardson, and Michael Pena. So I have some thoughts on this. I like this movie. Sure. Yeah, I like this movie a little bit more than you. Not great. I wasn't like this is one of the best movies I've seen, all year even. But so yeah, like you said, it's a movie about Sam Rockwell going back in time and going to this diner and pulling people into his scheme of trying to kill this rogue AI. And I thought the movie overall, like I actually did not watch too many trailers of this. I only saw the beginning part of it where he's in the diner, so I had actually no idea of where it was going or any set pieces or anything like that. So I was constantly surprised and just surprised about like the scope of it, because it was very much just going from the diner to back alleys to rooftops, I think, at one point, and then getting to the house where the kid lived. And I was like, this is actually interesting the way it's set up, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like, there are several moments where, it definitely gets into surreal territory. Nightmarish things happen. You're like, what is going on even? There's like a giant cat that's made up of smaller cats, and it's eating people. And so I had a good time with like the moment to moment stuff. Like I said, overall, wasn't like blown away by it, but I do think that, and this is the thing I was thinking about, which is I don't think that Gore Verbinski had much ideas about making a grand statement about AI. And my theory about that is not necessarily supported by the text of the movie, and I haven't seen anybody else say this, but I do think it's something where he just wanted to kind of make a pod person movie or a Invasion of the Body Snatchers type movie, because that gets into it too, where a lot of the crux of the movie is Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz are teachers that work at a school, and at first the kids are just like normally glued to their screens as just normal people are, but then it's revealed that they're actually being manipulated and programmed by the AI. And so I kind of was like, okay, that's a thing that they're talking about, where it's an AI and it's anti-technology, but I do think it's more of just an ends to a mean, where he just wanted to make a zombie movie / pod people movie / Invasion of the Body Snatchers movie, and that was kind of the inroad that he used to make that type of movie. So again, not supported by the text of the movie, not supported by anybody else, but I thought that was a way of saying, because he's not. I think you mentioned this, where it's not necessarily a very tight or very concise or very pointed commentary on AI or technology. It's just kind of there as background noise in a sense, right?
It's I don't want to say background noise as much as just like hey, people shouldn't be looking at their phones so much. It's very old man yells at cloud. Like I'm like, hey, AI is bad. But like not. It's just like it's very very anti-technology, anti-progress, which, there's positive and negatives about, modern life. And I feel like it would just, was like, oh well, these kids these days, they don't know nothing about they don't ever look up from their phones anymore. It felt like a
Yeah.
very, like boomer take. The whole movie is just very boomer coded.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Haley Lou Richardson in this. I think she had probably the strongest character and strongest character arc.
Yeah,
I've
she's great.
always yeah, I loved a lot of stuff she's been in since Columbus in 2017. I really felt for her because her in this movie, her boyfriend, who was initially like anti-technology, didn't want anything to do with it. He gets sent the VR rig and gets sucked into it, and then eventually leaves her because of it. And she has this allergy to technology, where her nose bleeds, and so I don't want to go too far into this because I have like 17 other movies to talk about. But yeah, didn't hate it. Thought there was good set pieces, and you could do a lot worse. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Not an awful movie. Could have maybe been trimmed a little bit, like a lot of Gore Verbinski stuff.
Yeah. Very, very cool end set piece of like the wires flipping around and kind of that slow motion thing. I thought the ending set piece was very cool to look at least.
Yeah. The finale set piece was very cool for sure.
Yeah. I also saw a movie you saw, Send Help. Obviously, Sam Raimi directed, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Yeah, good time. Again, just like the last one. Good time at the theater. Yeah, definitely felt like a Sam Raimi movie at times with him eating bugs and the violence and the like I said, or like you said, there wasn't really any canted, camera angles. There wasn't really any Sam Raimi isms as far as Actually, no, there was. I did kind of notice that. Well, I think they were running through the jungle at one point, which felt very Evil Dead coded. Where the cameras, rushing through the woods, rushing past trees. Right? Did that set off any bells for you about? Oh, that's a Sam Raimi signature right there.
Oh yeah, that's like a total. I mean, I don't know if I clocked it at the time I saw it, but it's definitely, like there's some real Sam Raimi moments. I think more of like ghost zombie was more the thing that I was like, that's some Raimi shit right there.
Oh right, spoiler alerts for this movie going forward. But when Dylan O'Brien's wife comes to the island to try to rescue him, and Rachel McAdams basically kills her. Like she falls off the cliff and she murders her.
She murders her.
She murders her and has a nightmare about her coming back to life. And yeah, that's a very Sam Raimi thing there. Yeah. What was I going to say about this movie? Yeah, it was a. Gross and stuff. I thought there was something I was going to mention about the Sam Raimi-ness of it. Oh, I mean, again, talking about movies that didn't get nominated and had no chance to, I think this was a really great performance by Rachel McAdams, especially in the quiet moments where she's talking about her abusive husband and when he died. I thought that was like one of those things where, yeah, this is why you hire somebody like Rachel McAdams, not to do the stunts, but to have like those real human moments like that.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's one of our best working actresses. So really good to see her get a really meaty, just interesting role like this.
Yeah. Are you a fan of? Are you as big a fan as I am of Batman Returns? And did this make you think of Batman Returns of a nebbish, little, quiet, mousy executive assistant being transformed into a warrior woman?
I mean, I do love that movie. It's one of my favorite Batman movies. But I don't know that I immediately put that together, but I can see the parallels for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, again, you could do a lot worse. This is not a dumpy movie. This is one of the better ones you could see that this year so far. Yeah.
Yeah, no, had a really good time with this. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let's go back to you. You checked out Fallout, the TV show on Amazon. I haven't seen too much of this. I saw the first couple episodes of the first season. Again, this is a show that 2026. It's kind of a miracle that shows like this and The Pit, and I think there's a couple others that are trying to get back to that days TV of yore of like, hey, yeah, actually TV shows can be made on a semi regular basis. So really good to see second season is out. What did you think of this?
So I watched the second season of this. I'd seen the first season when it came out. Just kind of binged it, and it's a lot of fun. It's not. I don't think it's as strong storytelling wise as the first season. It's pretty bifurcated, not even bifurcated, it's like split, like there's like a bunch of different stories going on and none of them are connected at all to each other. But all of them are interesting and they don't cross over in any meaningful way. But I'm really down with all these characters, really great performances. Walton Goggins as the ghoul is so freaking good. I love Walton Goggins and seeing him as this like undead, post-apocalyptic, through a nuclear wasteland cowboy is just a role that he was meant to play, and just kind of him cozy. It's almost like, it's like, oh, we've got now two video game adaptations where there's this, loner who's like hardened to the world in the post-apocalypse, and he starts forming a bond where he's almost like a sort of father figure to this, younger woman. And so it's like, okay, cool. Glad we've got two of those now because they're both great. But yeah, I quite like this. Obviously, Goggins isn't great, but so is, oh my gosh, I'm spacing on her name. She's got the eyes. What's her name? The eye. You know what I'm talking about?
Anya Taylor-Joy. No.
No. Who is in Fallout?
Oh, who's in Fallout? Yes. Let me look it up. Fallout TV show. Yeah. Her name is the classic Ella Purnell.
Ella Purnell, yes. Ella Purnell is really good in this. She's just kind of this plucky person going through the worst possible thing in the world. Kyle MacLachlan plays her dad, and he's just doing they're utilizing him in a really interesting way. Playing on that Kyle MacLachlan persona, and just like having a lot of fun with the lore. I think that it's obviously this is Fallout's a video game that there's not really that much of a storyline. It's kind of just going out in the world and figuring it out, and they're taking all that lore that has been built on and making a really cool, interesting narrative tale for us.
Nice. There's one guy in here. I don't know if I can. Do you want me to spoil who's in this thing? Do we want to say?
I mean, I've watched all of it, so you can say it. Yeah.
Sure. Well, for the audience, I wasn't sure if they want to be spoiled. Justin Theroux, from our favorite show.
Yes, he's so good in it.
Yeah. What kind of character does he play?
He plays he's like a capitalist, but like an old-timey capitalist with a thin mustache and, gee golly, I'm going to predict the end of the world, and he's interesting because he's a character who is like kind of despicable, but like also you really like him at the same time, and it's also like, you're definitely the lesser of like 18 evils, so like he's pretty good, I gotta say.
Amazing. All right. That is Fallout, now streaming on Amazon Prime. All right. Yeah, and obviously everything I talked about is either in theaters or coming out of theaters, probably. I think Send Help is probably out of theaters by now. I know Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is probably out of theaters. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Yeah. All right, let me rattle off a couple here. I checked out Army of Shadows from 1969, directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. Don't really know why I checked this out. I'm just a huge fan of really good spy dramas, and this is what this is. Follows a small group of resistance fighters as they move between safe houses, work with the Allied militaries, kill informants, and attempt to evade the capture and execution that they know is most likely their fate. So this is takes place in 1942 in Nazi-occupied France. And just the stuff that I think people don't really think about they put in this movie where, if you're living in an occupied state, for most part, it kind of looks normal, but then you have these moments of, they make a point to emphasize the moments of like people out to dinner and they're like, do you have your meat ticket? Do you have a ticket for meat? Do you have a bread ticket? It's all that sort of, that forced rationing that went on a lot there. Just like the synopsis says here in Wikipedia, while portraying its characters as heroic, the film presents a bleak, unromantic view of the resistance. So, I've watched a lot of spy stuff over the years, and I'm always surprised at these moments that they have. They have a couple of moments in this where the people that you're working with, you obviously have to trust intrinsically with your life, and I get that, but they have these moments where people will make like one slip up, which again, it's life or death. You can't fuck up at all, and I get that, but they make it out of it. They screw up and they almost get caught, but everyone makes it out alive. But then they're like, okay, well, because of that guy fucked up, we have to kill him. And it's like, why? Why? He's an asset that you've been working with for so long, and because of this one thing, you have to murder them. It's just like, I would probably, at that time, obviously, it's a different thought process about all that stuff, but it's just like, man, there's like so few people willing to do it that can do it. It just seems like such a waste to kill somebody like that. But anyways, fantastic cinematography, fantastic acting. I never really recognized any of these people before. Lino Ventura, Paul Mezzari, a lot of people that were, in their heyday in the 60s in France, probably well known to them. But yeah, really just a fucking great spy thriller from the 60s. If you're really into spy stuff, grounded, realistic stuff, I would definitely check this out. Unfortunately, I think it left Criterion last month, but it is only rentable right now. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Okay, I hadn't even heard of this, but that piqued my interest.
Very good stuff. And so checked out on Criterion. This is streaming right now on Criterion. The Piano Teacher. This is from Michael Haneke, who is a guy I've seen most of his stuff. So again, talking about stuff that I'm trying to do this year, working through director's filmography. And this is one of his big ones that I had yet to see. The synopsis is, I have the Wikipedia pulled up, so it doesn't really tell synopsis. Okay. So synopsis is, it tells the story of an unmarried piano teacher at a Vienna conservatory living with her mother in a state of emotional and sexual disequilibrium, who enters into a sadomasochistic relationship with her student. So yeah. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Yeah, it's a perverted Wong Kar-wai movie. It's longing. It's like, oh, I want this person, but I can't have them. Oh, I'm this very repressed conservative woman in her 40s. I want this person, but I can't have them. So it's a really fucked up version of that. So yeah, definitely recommend checking it out. It's streaming on Criterion and HBO Max. Yep.
All right. Interesting.
Interesting. Interesting, yes. So there's that. I checked out To Live and Die in LA, continuing my series of checking out filmmakers' filmographies that I've seen almost all of. This comes to us from Mr. William Friedkin in the year of our Lord 1985, year of my birth. It's based on a 1884 novel, the same name, by former U.S. Secret Service agent. Interesting. Gerald Pivovich. The film tells the story of the lengths to which two Secret Service agents go to arrest a counterfeiter. Yeah, this is in the range of, or in the bucket of William Friedkin stuff like The French Connection. It's very kinetic. It's got an amazing car chase scene about halfway through. Just despicable characters, despicable actions. Some gross out stuff. Some really deplorable treatment of women. Just a gritty and grounded 1985 neo-noir action thriller. So who could imagine one of the great directors of the 70s and 80s and 90s put out a fucking banger in 85. Yep.
Yeah, makes sense, I guess. I mean, Friedkin is one of the greats, so
yes.
I'm probably gonna watch it at some point in my life. I'll say that much.
It's a great thriller. Yeah, that is streaming on Criterion and Canopy right now. Moving on, we got Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. It's a new film by Mr. Jim Jarmusch. Jim Jarmusch. It's an anthology movie. It follows the three estranged family members' family relationships in 3 different countries around the world. It's starring Tom Waits, Adam Driver. I always don't know how to say her name. Mayim Bialik. She was Blossom in the show Blossom. Also, I think she got started a lot on Big Bang Theory. I don't know if you're a fan of that show.
I hate that show.
You hate that show? Okay.
I was like, what if nerds were like, hated women? Whoa, great.
Whoa.
So zany.
Bazinga. Also stars Charlotte Rampling, Kate Blanchett, Vicky Creeps, Sarah Green, India Moore, and Luca Sabat. Yeah, it's a great little movie about things that I experienced a lot as you get older. Start checking in on your it used to be your grandparents and grandfathers, and you get a little bit older and it sort of becomes your father and mother. And so the first entry is about Adam Driver and his sister going to check on their father, Tom Waits. So it's just one of those movies. It's very human, very grounded, very it's about people just checking in on each other, keeping tabs on each other, making sure they're okay, making sure they have enough food to eat. They're kind of all like that. They have these interspersed turn of phrases that a lot of people use. So it's very much about how we're all kind of human and all kind of use the same language, same idioms and same stuff like that. So yeah, if you're just in the mood for a nice, cozy little movie about family, to have you check out Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, streaming on Movie right now.
Okay, all right, interesting. It was nice to see Vicky Krieps in something since I haven't seen her in anything other than one PTA movie when she was in Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread, yeah.
Yeah, she was great in that, so I'd love to see her in another role.
She's been in like a lot of stuff. You just go to her wiki or IMDb or whatever. It's just a bunch of stuff. I saw her. Oh yeah, Bergman Island 2021. Quite a few credits here. I think it's a lot of TV work, maybe. I think it's a lot of TV work, maybe. Yes, a lot of stuff though. Was she old? Was she in? She was in The Beach That Makes You Old.
Wait, yes. She was in The Beach. Wait, who was she in The Beach That Makes You Old?
Doesn't say, like, it's not on IMDb here. I thought she was Gael Garcia Bernal's wife. She was The Beach. She was the wife of Gael Garcia Bernal. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I do not remember it, but that's
I
cool.
don't either. Anyways, we got that. Next up, we have Chariots of Fire. So I'm reviving my Best Picture winning movies. Yeah, my marathon of that I was going through for a pretty good pace there a couple of years ago. I stopped at Chariots of Fire. So this is the movie that won 1982's Best Picture. It is a historical sports drama directed by Hugh Houston, starring Ben Cross. That is a name. Starring Ben Cross, Ian Charleston, and Nigel Havers. A bunch of super British names. Ben Cross, Ian Charleston, and Nigel Havers. And this movie is Mr. Havers. Dude, this movie is so fucking British. And this is the movie that I texted you the picture of them doing a Yellowface production of something. I was like, woof. This is, well, it takes place in the early 1900s, so yeah, it's I was gonna say expected or acceptable back then, but yeah, I guess it was. Just like a lot of people have said on Letterboxd, it's long, it's meandering, it's oh my god, it's only 124 minutes. Dude, this felt like 3 hours. I swear to God, I thought this movie was 3 hours. And not just because, they have the classic, slow motion running, the da 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 that song that plays. And that song, guess what? It only plays in that first scene. It is the first scene, and that's it. It's about running. Oof.
That's what I hear.
Running. It's something. So I checked that off my list. I booted up right after Out of Africa, the next one on my list, not the next Best Picture winner, but the next one on my list. This was from 1985, so won the Best Picture in 86, obviously directed by Mr. Sidley Pollack, starring Robert Redford, Meryl Streep, and Klaus Marina Brandaughter. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. This is why I was regretting and putting off watching these movies for so long, because I knew they would be a slog. I knew they would be slow. I knew they'd be meandering. I knew they'd be about white people struggling in foreign lands. I gave this like 3 stars almost wholly based on Redford and Streep acting their asses off, having amazing chemistry, being beautiful people. The rest of the movie is fine. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not the best. I think I went through and looked at the nominees of that year. Let me see if I can find it quickly. No, I can't. But anyways, it was a bad year. If you go through the 80s and look at the nominated movies for that year for the Best Picture, they were all real bad. Okay. So yeah, Out of Africa is a movie you can see if you so choose on Amazon Prime. Chariots of Fire is on YouTube with ads. So there we go with that.
A couple Best Pictures that seem boring. Look at a really good one.
Let's get back to you before I finish up my stuff. You checked out A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, just finished recently. Derick, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, so obviously this is the spin-off for Game of Thrones, the second spin-off for Game of Thrones. This is follows it's set about 90 years before the events of the main story Game of Thrones, and it follows a kind of bumbling, like, idiotic, very tall hedge knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his squire, who's a small bald boy, who and they kind of like are going off to this tournament, and you're seeing, some old, like, family trees that you recognize. You're like, there's a drunk Baratheon, there's the Targaryens being pieces of shit. I won't say who anybody is for people who haven't like read the books or anything, or haven't seen it yet, but this is maybe my favorite Game of Thrones show. Like, this is so good. It's just, it still has the Game of Thrones stuff that you want, the action, the intensity, but it also just, Dunk is just so great. The interplay between the two of them is so great. It's only 6 episodes long. They're each only about half an hour, so you can get through this really quick. I binged the whole thing today. It's so much more watchable than a lot of these like big epic shows, while still being set in this epic world. It doesn't feel like it's just the story of this kind of one dude and this tournament. It's based on a novella. George R. R. Martin wrote a bunch of Dunk and Egg novellas, so we're gonna probably get more seasons of this. But yeah, I was a very, very big fan of this, and I would recommend it to anybody, whether or not you're a fan of Game of Thrones. I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, again, this is my year. This is my one movie a day year, so I have barely enough time to get home and shower and watch a movie before I hit in the sack. So, yeah, fortunately, the TV stuff is going to have to be put on the far, far back burner this year.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No TV for you.
No TV for me. 2 more things real quick before we move on. I checked out Opera from 1987, one of the only, Jesus Christ, one of Dario Argento's movies that I have yet to see. One of the better ones, I should say. This is from 87, like I said, starring Christina Marlishush, Urbano Barberini, and Ian Charleson. Oh, again, I was like, why does that name sound familiar? He just was in the Chariots of Fire, which is interesting crossover there. It's a giallo, man. It's a Argento giallo. Some incredible like rock music kicks in when the murdering starts happening, so that's pretty cool. I think Argento does some of the best production design I've ever seen in any movie. It's just so well detailed and built out, and yeah, if you're not into like horror movies or giallo at all, Argento is probably the one guy, and Opera is one of the ones I would recommend checking it out. It's incredible. So yeah, I think that one and a lot of his stuff is streaming on Canopy right now.
All right, interesting. Yeah, I'm not a huge giallo guy, but maybe this will be, a good gateway one for me, like you said.
Yeah, going into Edgar Wright's movie that he was like a giallo. I forget what it was called. It was like One Night in Soho.
Last Night in Soho.
Last Night in Soho. Yeah, that was like 2021. So I wasn't like. I think that was right before I started to get into Argento stuff. So I was like, what is even going on? I was like so put off by that. I think if I go back and watch it now, I could enjoy it a lot better knowing what he was going for there. So yeah, one more. Speaking of directors, I'm trying to complete their filmographies, and a show that is about filmmakers' filmographies, one movie at a time. The Blank Check is starting their Peter Weir marathon this Saturday, so I don't really ever follow along with the show as they're doing it, but I think this is going to be the one I'm going to start with. So yeah, their first movie that they're going to talk about this Saturday is The Cars That Ate Paris. This is from 1974, starring Jean Million and Terry Camilleri, yeah. It is essentially, the Australian New Wave and Australian government in the 70s gave a bunch of money to a bunch of filmmakers, Peter Weir being one of them. Also, Millar, what's his name? Miller? Not Mark Miller. George Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Miller. It's interesting that George Miller and Peter Weir's first movie involved not demonic cars, but like demolition style cars, which was probably because it's very cheap to buy those things. So this is a movie involving cars that were just that do a lot of rampaging stuff. But it's also, I think this definitely separates itself from Mad Max in the sense that it's also, I think it's more of a cult movie. It's more of a folk horror type movie, because it's about a guy who crashes his car near this town, this very isolated town, and he's sort of brought in and fixed up. And along the way, it does get into a lot of like, oh, this is a creepy town with creepy people. So that's, it's like the Wicker Man. It's like the Witchfighter General. It's about all these. It has that vibe of those old, English folk horror movies. Of there is something not quite right here. These people are too friendly and too inviting and too. They just look at me. They're giving me a weird look. So yeah, it's actually separated itself from Mad Max in a lot of different ways. So yeah, it's a very good first feature by Peter Weir.
I will say though, it's actually technically his second feature. It looks like he directed something called Holmesdale before this.
Yeah,
that was a feature film.
That is true. You're correct, but Blank Check is watching this one first, so I went with that one.
Okay, yep. fair enough. And I do like Peter Weir. I've only seen 3 of his things. But I quite like all of them. Gallipoli I watched in high school for learning about World War One. Remember enjoying that. Dead Poets Society, great film, and then Truman Show is one of my all-time favorites. So I'm probably going to be. There's a few of his movies that I've been wanting to watch for a long time. This miniseries might be an excuse for me to go watch, like Picnic and Hanging Rock and Master and Commander, and maybe Mosquito Coast, as well as probably Witness 2, like when he did his films with Harrison Ford. So yeah, I love Peter Weir, so I'm excited for this miniseries.
Yeah. I think I talked about watching Picnic and Hanging Rock maybe last time or the time before that. I heard The Last Wave is very, very good. Speaking of Richard Chamberlain, what was I talking about Richard Chamberlain recently? Not sure, but yeah, that I've heard very good things about that. I've seen Witness, have not seen Gallipoli actually. Master Commander, just one of the great all-time dad movies. Truman Show, incredible. Dead Poets, incredible. But yeah, I do need to catch up on The Plumber. I don't know if they'll be talking about that. Looks like a horror movie he did. The Year of Living Dangerously, got to catch up on that. And the Green Card with fucking what's his name, the guy that pissed on an airplane, famous for pissing on an airplane.
Gerard Depardieu.
Depardieu, yes. And Andy McDowell. That looks like something. Yeah, looks like a very meaty film series they're going to do on that one. Yeah. Okay. And that's all I've watched the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
There was a couple more in there, but not worth talking about. All right. With that, let's move on to our Letterboxd assignments, which I also watched. My assignment last time was Singles by Cameron Crowe. I've seen a lot of his films. Speaking of filmographies, I've seen a lot of his stuff, loved a lot of his stuff. Vanilla Sky, The Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies of all time. Really, really incredible director. Never saw his first directorial movie. I know he wrote a lot of stuff before that. The Fast Times at Ridgemont High and a few others. Singles is a movie I think people know it's pretty famous for, taking place in Seattle around the grunge scene. I was a huge grunge dude in my day. I came up in the late 90s, so that was kind of fading already, but I was learning guitar at that time. So I think one of the things that grunge is known for is very, very, very simple melodies and very simple chord progression. So Nirvana and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains is some very good bands to practice along to, because you can play almost all of their songs, play along to them pretty easily. So I got pretty deep into the grunge genre there, so I was very excited to finally check this out because it features a lot of grunge dudes, including what is his name? Do they have their names here? They're not in the cast list, really? Oh, Eddie Vedder, Stone Gossard, Jeff Arnett from Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Soundgarden perform there. Yeah, it's some incredible music, incredible early 90s grunge music. Bridget Fonda is very good in this. Campbell Scott, who I've interacted with a few times at my work. It's interesting too. It's an interesting relic, I should say, of the 90s, because another thing that I was obsessed with in the late 90s, early 2000s was The Real World, the show on MTV. And this has, it's very reminiscent of Real World because the first scene of this movie and many scenes of this movie are straight to camera, the characters talking about their life at that moment of like, hey, I'm 23 and I think I'm going to be single my whole life because I can't find love anywhere, blah, 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 blah. So it's very reminiscent of, just the 90s aesthetic, MTV and Real World and grunge and all of that. So it's good for that. As a movie, it's fine. It's a fine like plot, which is very not much there. There's not much plot there. There's not much there. But if you're a Cameron Crowe completionist, if you want to check out the grunge scene from the early 90s, I would recommend checking out Singles. If you've seen anything like Reality Bites is another like good early 90s comparison point there. So it's if you want some early 90s grunge in your life, check out Singles.
Yeah, all right. I don't know if I do want any early 90s grunge in my life, but you never know.
Okay, yeah. So your assignment last time was Scream 3, getting prepped for Scream 7, obviously.
Totally, yeah. A movie that I'm going to watch and I'm not boycotting. Scream 3.
What do you think of Scream 3?
It kind of a big step down from Scream 2, which I liked quite a bit. It's not terrible, but this is the point where it starts to feel like, okay, Scream, it's like this very interesting meta commentary on horror movies. Scream 2, all right, we're doing the same thing, but like now it's like about sequels and the way that process works. And now they're making, the first one is getting into making, and this one's like, well, it's a commentary on trilogies, but like the cast of the, the movie that was in the second one, now they're making like the third one, and it's a whole trilogy. And it's just, it felt very just sloppy and messy, and less, it's just more of like a slasher without, that just happens to be set with movies happening than a movie that is really commenting on the tropes. They kind of try to do the, like, oh, this is the trilogy trope, and they bring back, spoiler alert, Jamie Kennedy, who dies in the second one, to be like, well, unless you're in a trilogy. I'm like, why would he be saying that? He died. If he recorded this before he died, he was in the sequel. Yeah. He knew that. So that doesn't make any sense. Parker Posey deserved better. And because of Jay and Silent Bob inexplicably having a cameo in this, this is set in a universe where Alan Rickman is the voice of God. But yeah, overall, a just pretty by the numbers mediocre slasher. They do set up these movies are also not just slashes, but they're also whodunits. And I think that sometimes your mileage varies on whodunits, where it's like, well, you're trying to set someone up to clearly be the villain. You're trying to give some hints along the way, and they give some hints along the way as to who the villain would be. And then it just becomes this other person who, like, okay, yes, I understand why you have this backstory and stuff. I was not expecting it to be you. There's no reason it should have been you. You were even kind of like, we thought you were dead at one point, but you came back because we needed a twist. So I didn't love Scream 3, but I, didn't hate it either, like you said earlier with some other movie.
Yeah. Not Scream 3, but Scream 7. One of my, it's a great review. It's a 1.5-star review from Randy Jones on Letterboxd. He says, "You either die Scream or live long enough to see yourself become the Stab." the parody movie in those in that universe.
This movie is all about Stab 3. Like they're killing the cast of Stab 3 is the whole thing in this movie, which makes no sense because they made Stab 1 based on the real thing. So now they're making Stab 3, but only 2 real life things have happened. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Who was the killer in this one? Was it, what's her name from Roseanne?
No, I don't. No, it was not what's her name from Roseanne. Okay. It was. So I guess we're just gonna spoil Scream 3. It was the director. They're very much playing it up like it's gonna be. Like the very obvious thing is that it's going to be what's her name, Emily Mortimer, who's just kind of this like sweet girl. But it's clearly supposed to, like, very obvious supposed to be her, so it's not her. Then and you're like, if you're an astute movie watcher like me, you're like, they're clearly setting some hints up to freebie Patrick Dempsey. Like, it seems like it's going to be him. It seems like he's going to like be her secret half brother. No, he just is not. He's just a nice cop at the end of the movie, and her secret half brother is the director for no reason, even though there was no inkling to that was going to be the case at all.
Okay. Great.
So, spoilers for a movie that is from the year 2000.
7 years old. Yes. 26 years old. All right. There we go. So let's do our Letterboxd assignments for next time. I got quite a few here to choose from. And we can go to my watch list and Hell Shuffle and see what we get. Bloop. I got The Eternal Daughter. The Eternal Daughter. Eternal Daughter is directed by Joanna Hogg. Speaking of people I've seen most of their movies of. So I'll be checking that out for next time. Came out in 2022. Yeah, she worked with Tilda Swinton a lot, so she's stars in this. So, yeah.
All right.
96-minute little indie thingy there. All right. Lost The Eternal Daughter. Okay, Derick, go to your watch list. Hit shuffle. Let me know what you get.
All right. And I got... speaking of, somebody we're talking about earlier on the show, I have never actually seen the original Evil Dead. So what I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never watched it from start to finish. So Evil Dead 1 from 1981, Sam Raimi.
There we go. Nice. That should be a fun one to check out for next time.
Yeah.
All right. And for next time, we got a few things in the docket that are not terrible. That's a great way to say it. We got Hoppers, Disney Pixar's newest feature. Hoppers, directed by Daniel Chong, coming out next week. We'll see how that is and does. We also have Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, ! Like Mother. It takes place in the Mother universe. So stupid. Jessie Buckley starring as the bride / Mary Shelley. That's interesting on Wikipedia. Has her as Ida, the bride / Mary Shelley. Christian Bale as Frank.
Seems like that's probably a spoiler, but okay.
Yeah. Peter Skarsgård in here. Annette Bening. Yeah, many people are in this. Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. Did you ever check out any Peaky Blinders?
No, that's more of my brother's. Peaky Blinders, eh? That's my brother's kind of thing. Not so much.
Order of the Peaky fucking Blinders.
Peaky Blinders is we're gonna go over. We're gonna beat this guy up because we're old and British, and the British in the olden times.
In the olden times, yes. Right.
Righto.
Rightio. Following week, March 13th, we've got the newest Colleen Hoover adaptation, Reminders of Him. Stars Micah Monroe, Tyreek Withers, and Rudy Pacau. Great name. Rudy Pacau. Pancow. Yeah, Micah Monroe, one of my favorite people from It Follows and Long Legs. And she was in the other one that I was like, that's a weird thing. She was in another movie where somebody's following her. It was called Watcher from like 2022. Yeah, Watcher. Yep. If I had $1, I think that was the one that started the whole. If I had a nickel for every time Micah Monroe was in a movie where somebody was following her, if I had 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. We also have Undertone. The
movie. Hey, the movie about us, Damian. About
Undertone,
what we're doing right here. Yeah,
Canadian horror film. Yeah.
Podcast The Scary Movie.
Ava, wait, what is this? On Wikipedia it says Ava and her mother are the only characters to be shown on screen in the film. All other characters are heard as off-screen voices, thus conveying the film's horror through its sound design. All right. Thank you for that teaser. And we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret Ooze, 35th anniversary re-release. You can check that out in theaters if it's playing near you.
All right. Yeah, interesting. I love the first one. This one, I don't think is aged as well, but, it'd be interesting to go back to it.
Oh, yeah, because of the Vanilla Ice music thing there.
There is some Vanilla Ice in this. Yeah, that is a thing that happens.
Wow. Running time 88 minutes. That's a quick one. Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
In and out.
In and out. All right. So that includes everything. Let's do some plug-in. Medium, DamianSherman.medium.com. Go there to my 2025 Best of the Year reviews and all of that stuff. Go to my Letterboxd Letterboxd, the Midnight Film Pod. I am 57 away from 2,500 followers. Film essayist on YouTube. Go there for the podcast and all the stuff. Spotify for podcasters to make your own podcast. Go to Discords. Hey Riddle, Blank Check, Letterboxd, Midnight Film Pod on TikTok. Go to all my interviews in the feed there. Derick, what you got to plug?
Plug in the Underrated Movie Podcast. That is my other podcast that I do where I discuss films that are underrated, underappreciated, and ones that have flown under the radar and passed most people by. Next week, I'm going to be discussing the cult time travel film from 1979, Time After Time. So definitely go check that out. Last week, I discussed Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, so would love you to check that one out too. And if you're in the Southern California area and you're going to be around, I would love you to come to the Anaheim Convention Center for WonderCon at the end of March. I'm going to be doing a panel there. Can't give any specifics yet, but I would love to see you guys there if you're in the area.
And what was that name of that convention again?
WonderCon.
WonderCon, you suck these nuts. Bwam, bwam.
Oh, bam. Boom, roasted. Very good, very good.
But it's so fucking stupid.
How long have you been waiting for that one?
Since you said it. I was like, WonderCon. That sounds like a thing.
Pretty good, anyways, I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah.
Every time you suck these nuts. Jesus Christ.
How
we continue the show after that? It was so perfect. Like, I think we were done. We can't do any more episodes because like there's nowhere to beat that.
Boom. For Midnight Film Society, I'm a Damian.
I'm a Derick.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.